course of my career, I've met many people who are struggling in different areas of their life, whether it be in a relationship, issues with parenting, or a personal issue such as depression or low self-esteem. Many people don't have the financial resources or time to devote to coming to therapy on a regular basis. In hopes to meet the needs of those people, I created this podcast, Top 5 with Chris Taylor, where you learn the top 5 things that you can do right now to change that difficult situation in your life. On today's episode of Top 5 with Chris Taylor, we're going to talk about the top 5 things that you can do to help yourself have a higher level of follow-through. Now, we set so many goals in life, or we have so many dreams, so many things we want to accomplish. What's really the one thing that's holding us back? Complete lack of follow-through. So we go around telling people these ideas, but we don't do anything about it. So today we're going to talk about the top 5 things that you can do to increase your level of follow-through. Okay? Number 1, define the step. Okay, defining the steps, you could also call it creating a plan, but we're going to say define the steps because we want it to be sort of a step-by-step process. It's the path that we're going to walk. And so what a lot of times we do again is we create these sort of grandiose ideas and visions and images of what we want our life to be, but we don't just take a step back and say, well, it all starts right here, this one step, right? And that's ultimately what it is. It's one step ahead of the other to start walking that path to get to where you want to be in life. So start by just defining what each step is and the task within each step, okay? Number 2, identify the barriers. Identifying the barriers is something that I think is, I think it's intuitive. I think a lot of times we have a hard time doing that because identifying the barriers is really starting to hold ourselves accountable, right? Because if we know the steps and then we know the barriers, we can't build excuses in, we can't blame other people for why it's not happening. So know what those barriers are, and a lot of times the barriers is just not knowing what to do, not having the motivation. Sometimes it can be financial, so you have to create a plan and a list of steps how you can sort of generate some of that capital so that you can invest into your plan. But again, identify what those barriers are so that you can start to address them and remove them and start getting on to the next step, okay? So number 3 is dedicate time. So what we do is we identify the barriers, we create a plan, but life is busy, I've got a family, I've got kids, I've got a 9-to-5 job, I've got other things that I'm involved in, and that's just excuse making. So stop that and create dedicated time in your day, in your week, in your months to really focus on what this plan is. Now, what I encourage people to do is this. Create it as if it's another job. And even if you're working late at night or early in the mornings, act as though you're punching in and punching out. You know what? From 9 to 11 o'clock tonight, I'm punching in, and this is important, and this is what I'm going to do to make sure that it happens. And if it's something at work or a task that you can fit into normal hours of what you're trying to do, again, create that dedicated time. It's an important task that you've identified that you want to follow through on, so make sure you have the time, to be able to do it. Number 4 is create an accountability system. Creating an accountability system is accessing somebody that we know that can help really sort of keep us on track. It can be sharing ideas with people so that we just get it out there. And now we're like, well, if we don't do it, then people ultimately in the future are going to ask, hey, what went on with that? And we're not going to be able to sit and say, oh, well, this happened, that happened, this happened. And we're going to sort of have pie on our face and look like, we're just kind of full of it all the time. And that's not what we want to do. We don't want to look like we don't have follow through. We want to build that accountability system and have that follow through. Okay, and the 5th thing that we can do is take breaks. Okay, taking breaks seems like, well, you're telling me that I got to dedicate time, I need accountability, I'm identifying the barriers. What if my barriers is just like really lazy and I don't dedicate that time? Well, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is if you give yourself 2 hours to accomplish a specific task that you have to do, right? And you're about 45 minutes into it, allow yourself a break to step away. Now, a break is about 5-10 minutes to step away, recharge yourself, get a drink of water, get a little snack, and then get right back into it. And as you're dedicating time for the actual task, also dedicate time for your break. So if it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, then you know that's what it is. When that buzzer's up or that clock strikes that minute, you're right back into it. Also, you want to make sure that you're not taking that time to extend your breaks or make more excuses for not getting back into it. So don't use that as an opportunity, and don't take great liberty in those breaks, but do take them, because you can't just power through if it's going to take a long time to accomplish those tasks. Okay, so those are the top 5 things that you can do today to just increase your level of overall follow through in those tasks that you want to accomplish and ultimately are important to either you or your work or your family life in general. Okay. If you liked what you just saw and you would like more information about how you can implement these top 5 things into your life right now, please check out this and additional videos on my website, www.christaylormft.com.